I often talk about how scaling requires you to have systems in place, and I talk about how you need to do things a certain way. But I also talk about how not everybody's business is built the same way, and everyone needs to find what works for them. What works for me is SOPs and systems and automations and a team because I don't want to do the work. But today I want you guys to meet my friend Zach, who runs a very different business than what I do. Still a 7-figure business. You're laughing. You're very different.
You're like SOP. And I'm like, all right, let's do organized chaos.
Yes, exactly. So Zach and I met 10 years ago.
Okay.
Remember that?
No.
Yes, you do.
In Huntington?
Yes.
Is that where we met?
I think so.
Okay.
It's
all a blur.
I saw you in the Facebook groups, but I think that's where we met in person.
She's loved me ever since.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we've become really good friends over the years, and we've scaled our businesses very differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I always looked at you, I thought you were more advanced than you were at the time because you presented no, I'm just saying like you presented so well in what you did.
Okay.
Right. And so you did a lot of inspirational stuff. And I think you inspire a lot of people to this day and continue to do that. But what I want to talk about is your business and what it looks like now.
Okay, sure.
So I'm going to grill you with questions.
I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We need to like you.
I'm sure we can do that.
$100 question.
There you go. Okay, so tell me how you started. What were you doing before Studio Z became a thing? Well, let's start with that, and then I'll ask you more questions.
You want the long or the short of it?
Tell me whatever you want.
All right. I think we have to go back to like 2012-ish. I don't remember the exact date. I graduated college in 2009. I was living in Bristol, Connecticut, working for ESPN, making about $27,000 a year in TV, which is like miserable.
Yeah.
Was always a photographer growing up, like hobbyist. I knew technology pretty well. But I wanted to do something more. And I think it was 2009, shortly after I started my job, we were actually in Vegas for my cousin's wedding. And they had a photo booth, but their photo booth was a photographer-based setup on a tripod, 3-point lighting, and a seamless white backdrop. And it was just really high quality photos. And I thought to myself, oh, I could do this. And it was a different time back then too. You didn't have the PBX with all the different booths, and the $2,000 gets you, in the door in a second. So I thought about how could I do this. I think a few years went by. My grandmother passed away, and I got a little bit of inheritance, nothing crazy, but I paid off my student loans. And after that, I had, I don't know, $2,000-3,000 left over. And I said, okay, let me buy a new camera, some stuff. And I wanted to be a wedding photographer.
Oh,
I did one wedding.
I'm sorry.
Got it off Craigslist, nice lesbian couple, like kind of very low-key backyardy type wedding. And I just remember the stress of it. I nearly missed the first kiss. I was way over my head. And I thought back, what about that photo booth? Like, I am better in a controlled, fixed environment. And I still am to this day. I don't call myself an event photographer. I don't like using speed lights and walking around with different environments. I can set up a portrait station and fixed lighting and shoot great.
Yeah.
That's kind of my bread and butter. And I thought, okay, let's do that. And I created a Groupon ad. And I would never advise people to Groupon these days.
No, please
but
no.
Groupon in 2012 was a very different beast. It was one ad a day. It wasn't a marketplace.
Yeah.
So the way Groupon worked was you set a discounted price. What's a discounted price when you don't have a company yet? So you just inflate the price and then discount it to the price you want to be at. And Groupon would take half of it. So I think it was like $400 for a 3-hour photo booth, and I'd make $200 off of that. But what that was doing was it was blasting me out to my whole market of Connecticut. It was an email blast basically for free that promoted my company, and people could book. And it blew up that day because people saw this and they saw it was cheap and they wanted more info. And you could do some sketchy things where, people would call and I'd say, well, I'll do it for $300 if you book me direct, not through Groupon. They'd save $100. I made $100 more.
Yeah.
But what that did was I got a bunch of bookings in the first week. It was overwhelming because I'm also working full time with I'm in my first year, so I get a week or two off, but I have to approve those days off. My schedule was nights and weekends. It was hard, you know? But it gave me the capital to buy the rest of the equipment I needed. So I bought a printer then, a dye sub printer, props and stuff. And my setup was a camera on a tripod, a Mac running Breeze, and
Wait, so you use Breeze from the get-go?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I actually I'll continue on, but and it was a monitor on a table that people could see themselves. I didn't have the fancy box or anything until 2 years later, and that's a whole other story we could get into. But I think at the time, I knew nothing. I think I came across Nick Rhodes, who had Nicky Digital at the time, and he was starting to do photo booths. And I think I completely ripped off his branding and took the same thing. He just had a style, and I was I didn't know if this was going to go anywhere, and I just needed to get something up and running. So I kind of took elements from different people and was all right, let's create a brand. And then that quickly changed, a few months in. But it just it took off, and then it was hard because I couldn't commit to bigger things because I didn't know my work schedule. And then a few years into work, things were starting to grow. And I got asked to leave ESPN to go to NBC in New York. So one that was moving me to the New York and Fairfield County, Connecticut market, which is one of the most affluent markets in the country. And it also brought me into a Monday through Friday schedule where I was working 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it opened up my nights, it opened up my weekends, and I said, we can start pushing this business now. I started meeting planners. I was very into the networking scene. I had that more free time, and I kind of became this go-to person in the Connecticut region, and things just picked up in the wedding industry fast. And then that led to corporate, and then it just grew with NBC and connections there. I don't like to tout that my TV work brings me photo booth work. Has it? Yes. But I don't sit at work and go, hey, by the way, I have a photo booth business. That doesn't happen. Are there people I see in the morning at work and then at night at an event and they go, aren't you that guy from this morning? I'm yes, but I don't advertise it like that.
Wait, can you clarify what you do at NBC right now?
So sorry. When I first started and moved down to New York for NBC, I was working on a sports show. That sports show got canceled very quickly. And then I started freelancing everywhere until I became what they call full-time freelance on the Today Show. So I stage manage the Today Show in the mornings. I wake up at 4:45 most days, sometimes earlier. I work till about 11 a.m., sometimes noon, sometimes 1. And then I have the afternoons to myself and my business. But I'm freelance, so I am there Monday through Friday unless I tell them I'm not. So for PBX week, I say, hey, I'm not available these days. But if I don't work, I don't get paid. But I don't have proper vacation days, so I don't need the approvals. I just say, hey, sorry.
Not here.
NCAA booked me next month. I'm gone these weeks. Now Coachella's booking me. I'm gone that too. And now I'm gone, half the month. And they could fire me. They could replace me, sure. But
you're
that's
slightly panicking at this point.
Yeah. I'm in a good place in my job. Been there for, 12 plus years now or 14 years.
And you love your job.
I do.
You really, you can tell.
I do. So I have a background. I went to Emerson College. I have a background in television production and entertainment marketing. So it kind of went hand in hand that I work in television production and I work for an experiential marketing company that I built, which is an offset of entertainment marketing, if you will.
Yeah. But I think that's important to point out because there's people who love their day job, but also want to do the side hustle.
Correct.
But eventually your side hustle turns into another full-time
job. I like to say now when people always love to introduce me. They're like, Zach works for the Today Show, and then he has this great side hustle. I go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I own a photo booth company, and my side hustle is the Today Show. Or if you want to talk monetarily, they are vastly different by 10x, or 9x or whatnot. So they're vastly different things. At the time, too, when you're a full-time business owner, you don't have insurance. You don't have those things. I have Crohn's disease. I've had it since high school. I take an injection every other week that at the time, there was only a brand name until I think last year. And that was $3,000 a month. I paid zero on corporate insurance.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that my TV job is a part of one of the strongest unions in the country, and I get insurance through that. And so I needed to stay working full time because I needed the insurance. I didn't want to go down the ACA rabbit hole or all the buying your own insurance and having shitty coverage. Things change now. I'm married. My wife has insurance as well. We are on each other's insurances,
Yeah.
but like I could leave TV now if I wanted to and not have to worry about that aspect, which is a huge thing.
Was there a moment that you realized that your side hustle was no longer going to be a side hustle? And if so, like, what was that moment?
I don't remember. COVID like blurred so many lines too. And I was
it
like,
really did.
when I see things, I was like, oh, that was 2018. It feels like it was yesterday. And I
Yeah.
was like, but we missed like 2.5 years. So things are like,
Mhm.
are blurring. Probably like when I started meeting all you guys and started coming to PBX when I met Steve for the first time.
Mhm. Steve is from Breeze.
Steve is from Breeze. He owns his own photo booth company in Australia.
Yeah, tell him who he is.
I can
He's
go
so
down the story.
low-key. I know.
I mean, I'll tell this story real quick. And I think this is probably one of my biggest turning points. And it was kind of early on in the company too. I was working TV. I think it was right when I moved to New York. I got asked to work a golf show at the Super Bowl in Phoenix. I forget what year that was, maybe 2010. And I met a girl, a single guy at the Super Bowl, gets on a dating app.
I was going to say, is this the Bumble story?
No, it's one of them. There's multiple, but I meet a girl on Tinder and we hang out and I was very into her. And I ended up extending my stay and we were hanging out on a daily basis. I stayed a few extra days. And, you know, as you get to know someone, you get to talking, you ask about their family and this and that. And she's like, oh, my dad lives in Wisconsin and he's a marketing executive. He's a creative director or whatnot. And he's very good at what he does. You know, telling me his credentials, this and that. And I said, all right, let's play a game. I want you to text your dad, say, I need a brand and tagline for a photo booth company that's starting out. And within like 20 seconds, this man texts back a witty response that just calls it, he goes, the John Wilkes Booth Company. Because you only get one shot.
Oh my God.
Play on Abraham Lincoln, for those who don't know, who killed Lincoln with a gun in a theater. And hilarious, inappropriate, all that stuff. So I was like, I just want to see if this exists.
Yeah.
So I Googled the John Wilkes Booth Company.
Yeah.
And up came the Wilkes Photo Booth Company, which was a subsect of Steve. Steve owns a company called the Photo Booth Guys in Australia. But at the time, he was selling these gorgeous wooden photo booths. And it was called the Wilkes Booth Co. Yeah. And I messaged him and I was like, this is my vibe. Like, I love this photo booth. Like, tell me about it. And I couldn't afford it at the time. I think it was like 14, 15 grand. It was.
And from Australia.
Yeah, it was custom done. It was all this and that. And I don't remember if I met Steve first or not, but we met at PBX at Miguel's in the South Point for over a margarita 10 years ago or so. And he became one of my best friends. He ended up giving me one of those booths. It changed. I think that changed my career. I had a janky like metal cube that held a Sinfonia CS2 printer. It was great. It was an all-in-one. It was annoying to lug around. There was no case for it. And then like the art series just changed my whole vibe. You know, the wedding planners loved it. The corporate people loved it. It was stunning.
Like that was the booth I always wanted. I remember when I got it, I was like, I don't care if I never use this. It'll live in my house too. I'm going to have just photo booths everywhere.
I don't use it much anymore. I have the Icon booth, which is kind of like an upgraded version. You know, things come and go. Like I put a Mac Mini in the art series now. Like I don't really use Windows anymore, so I kind of stopped using that booth. But my wife said the other day, she's like, we're building a house. She's like, I think we should put the art series like in the living room just as an art piece.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, that's great. Like, I don't want to sell it. Like, hey, he gave it to me. I feel weird selling something that I didn't pay for.
I feel like that's a piece of history too.
Yeah, it's
like when we
part
build
of our
museum.
brand identity. And it's just like, okay, maybe it lives in the corner. It's got that that aesthetic to it. Can make it functional, can make it not functional. Just have the light on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So from there, Steve and I became very close, and he is a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of creative inspiration. As if you know him, love him, you know this. And I would just feed off him. And he was the kind of guy that he doesn't like to gatekeep. He'd be like, hey, we're going to try this at PBX. You know, it was the slider system back then. And then the year after, every other company was selling it. And it was passé by that time. You know, it was, we would get into something and hype it, make the money, get out before the rest of the people did. We did that with audio guest books. And, you know, trends come and go.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you're at PBX and you're like, this is the new trend, you've missed the trend.
Yeah.
Because people create the trends.
Yes.
And if you're seeing it mass on the floor, you've missed it.
Yeah. That's so true.
So like we're looking at, do we want to buy this scribble booth?
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a small investment, sure, but only one person has it. One
Yeah.
person's selling it. You'll see it 15 times over.
Oh, for
You'll
sure.
see ATA will have it in a few months. All these people will have it.
Yeah.
But it's different than AI. So I'm like, oh, is this the next thing? I don't know. Steve came out with this thing, the Wiggle Cam. It's a disposable
Oh, I love
3D
it.
printed lens,
Yeah.
but it's fun. You're going to see it everywhere. Where you may not see that everywhere because there's custom
yeah.
software coded behind it.
Hmm.
So it makes it a harder to entry, and it's a push to breeze, which is great.
Hmm.
But like that's something I can sell to my clients.
Yeah.
So those things just helped me explode and grow.
Yeah.
And I will always thank Steve for that. And I still, sit by him. And he is my number one resource when I need help or
Mhm.
an idea just talked out. Even if I know the answer, sometimes it's like, hey,
Yeah.
can I call you? I need to talk this through. And then he doesn't even say anything. I go, I got my answer. Thank you. And he's like, glad I could help. Thanks for waking me up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm rambling here, but
No, this is, I'm learning something new. I didn't know about
and
that.
I
whole
mean,
text
when you and
message.
I met, like
Yeah.
you were very, and you still are, and you worked for them, but you were very fixed in the Photo Booth Supply Co.
Yep.
eco.
It started me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like, and I say to there's more products by them now, but like people who are in that sphere stayed in that sphere.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone I went to college with. I didn't really know him, Zach Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
He stopped. We've never actually met, I don't think, but it was
Really?
his first
Oh,
PBX,
he's
and he just
great.
grabbed me.
Yeah.
And we only had a few minutes, and he said, I'm great at what I do. He said,
really
I
is,
finally
yeah.
crossed $1 million. And I said, oh, last year? He goes, no, total. And I was like, dude, I've seen your work.
It's so
I'm
good.
surprised you're not doing $1 million a year. And he's like, yeah, I know. I do. I have my guac or my legacies and I do headshots.
Mhm.
But he didn't know Spot My Photos. And I was like, you got to go get that software. Like, you got to branch out and do
Yeah.
other things. Being stuck in one world is tough. And, it's the same thing when you see people with software issues. They're like, oh, XYZ software went down.
Yeah.
Screw these guys. Like, their support sucks. It's not. Learn something else. I
Yeah.
know 6 softwares. I have backups. I can create something in a heartbeat. Like,
Right.
you're running a business. You need to know how to pivot and adjust.
Yeah.
So, like, being stuck, back to what we were talking about, like, and maybe it was just my mindset of you. Like, I knew you were a legacy Photo Booth Supply Co. girl.
Mhm.
And then you branched out and you started you finally got a 360. You were doing the portrait studios. You started using LA Photo Party and
Yeah.
Breeze. And you kind of found out, hey, if I'm doing XYZ, I need this software.
Yeah.
It's not, Social Booth doesn't do this, so I don't offer it.
Yeah.
It was find the tools or make the tools to make the job done. And
Yes.
once you change that mindset where you go, that's not in my wheelhouse, but you say, I'm going to create what my client needs. I don't like saying no to a client.
Let me clarify
Yeah.
that though, just because I know that a lot of people will get confused by certain messaging. So it is okay to completely niche down, right? And
Sure.
some businesses are built.
very
very
you
much
want to be a
built.
wedding company that just has an every booth cabina and that's your vibe?
Yeah.
Totally.
But understand that there's probably going to be ceilings that are associated with that,
Yes.
that thing if you do niche down.
And I think if you want to get properly into the corporate space, you have
Yeah.
to be able to bespoke create on the fly.
And that's
think
important,
outside
yeah.
the box.
That's what we did too. And
Right.
you do the same thing. Like whatever the client's goal is, we will figure out the solution for
Right.
it, which is why we offer so many products. But it came after we did one thing really, really well.
Right.
Right. And so that's a stepping stone that I just want to make sure people take away from this. Not I need to buy everything. You need to do something really well first and then really understand what is your next thing based on the client.
Here's a prime example. We were doing a photo op for Disney Channel, this show called Electric Bloom. And it's about a female rock band. And they have their own album. The soundtrack was releasing. And the client just said, like, hey, do you know anyone? Or I forget how they worded it. Or like, we want to have a listening station. And we can just put on Spotify, like, with some iPads. And I was like, no. Let me create you something. And I was like, can I code this? Can I AI it? And I was like, no, Breeze for iPad can do this. Like, I don't need Breeze to take a photo. It's so customizable. I can just make profiles and graphical menus that when you type on a song, it plays the song and then goes back to the original list. And they lost their mind.
Yeah.
And it took me like a day of work. I
Because
talked
you
to
knew
Steve
it,
a little
yeah.
bit, like talk through in the head.
At 4 a.m.?
Yep. But I knew it was possible. And it was, they just were so thankful. And that just seals you in their world. Like now they know, like, hey, this is the guy that can problem solve. He's not just a photo. Because this agency, they use Kev Lowe. They use him for some things, they use me for some things. I'm sure they use others too.
Yeah.
But how do you differentiate yourself when you all do the same things?
Yeah.
They know, hey, Zach's the guy we can go to when we have like a very custom request.
Yeah.
Let's ask him first.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me the advantage there.
Yeah.
They asked me for a robot, but I didn't want to do what they were doing. I didn't think it would be a good output. So they went with Kev.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still there for something else.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I know my lanes. I know what I want to stick in. And I know the particulars of that agency. And I don't want to give them something shitty.
Yeah.
That then they go, that's on me.
Yeah.
I'd rather just bow out at that point and be like,
Find
let
your
someone else
person.
do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the output's going to be what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to take the brunt of that.
Okay.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's important to know.
Sure. When to say no.
Exactly. So going back to this, because you've obviously built like a huge business at this point and you're still working full time. What does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah. So
walk me through the busy season.
Busy season is probably December.
Yeah.
In true peak, like because weddings and stuff are weekends. A lot of corporate stuff's weekends too, but it varies. But like December is like midweek. There's weekends are free and all the parties are at night midweek. So, there are days that I work 5 a.m. to like 2 because we tape a lot of episodes of our shows because the talent goes on holiday break. So there's like a 2-week down period where 2 of our 4 hours are on tape. So we have to tape all those.
Wow.
And it's exhausting. Yeah. Like the work's not hard, but like when you're there for extra hours every day, you're just like mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home and like turn around and do an event. Or thankfully I have, staff members that are on a per event basis that handle most of like my basic holidays, photo booth type stuff. But like if it's a 360 or anything niche, I'm there.
Yeah.
Or I white label it out.
Right.
So like there were times in past years that I was up at 4 a.m. and I was working till midnight and then back up at 4 a.m. working till midnight.
Yeah.
And I burnt out. I get sick. So now like in December, in my true busy season, I tell work, like I'm taking off this week. I look at the week with all the tapings and stuff like, nope, I'm done. Just write me out for that week. I'll eat payment loss. Like that's fine. But most days I work 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then I come home and I'm either at my warehouse or more likely than not, I'm on my couch just doing emails and little things.
So you do all the admin.
I do all the admin.
A lot of the execution, the programming, the packing, and events.
Yeah. I've passed some of it off to AI now, which has been like since I started this in January. I have this AI service that I have 6 AI employees that do anything from executive assistant just to manage my email, which has been like just to get rid of the spam. So I'm not getting the notifications pinging my phone and making me check is great. It drafts replies. It does all this and that. It's learning my brand. And then I have someone doing my social content, my blog posts now to get my SEO up. And like those things are kind of also getting me like some spark back because I just hate it. I'm not a blog writer. I don't want to do it. I know you love that kind of stuff.
I mean, I hate writing it. I
can't write it.
Yeah.
And someone asked me yesterday and said, oh, if AI writes your blogs, like, does Google hate that? And I go, they could hate it, but otherwise I got nothing because they're going to hate what I write because it's not going to be good. And I don't have the time to put that energy into it. And my little AI service has like a little clock at the bottom. It says like, you've saved like 45 hours so far this month. And we're halfway into the month.
That's crazy. And I think that's going to change a lot of people's businesses too. Like
totally.
AI can
and
do
it's just
a lot.
constantly growing. It's learning my business with every email I send. It's learning with every blog post. And it, just makes my life a little bit, there's always quirks, but it makes my life a little bit easier day to day.
Yeah. So it's just you and a couple of part-time staff.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I find part-time staff. New York's a tough market because most of my events are in New York City. I'm based in Jersey. My gear is in Jersey. I keep a small warehouse storage unit space, in Hudson Yards, 29th and 11th in Manhattan. And my employees generally do not have cars. If you live in New York, you don't have a car. So it's like, I can't ask them to like get a 360 to someplace. Like, and putting it in an Uber is not always the easiest, especially at certain times of year. The drivers hate it. Like if you're putting a 39-inch Orca in their trunk and you're, I just don't want that hassle. But they take Ubers to and from events with our like min booth kits or our Icon or something. We try to keep our gear minimal. We don't do props anymore. Like the less I can bring, the better. One cart. And they pick up and drop off. But event workers come and go.
Yeah.
Some have moved to Australia. Some have decided to take full-time jobs and they they can't work that much anymore. So like every time you get someone, you lose someone, and then it's like, and then do I have time to train? Like my training is usually like, hey, go with my current person and like
Figure
do
it
a
out.
few events. And then every once in a while you find someone that's just really motivated.
Yeah.
And I've got like a girl that I met she was a BA at an event
This,
I was doing. Oh yeah,
Nisa?
Nisa.
Yeah.
And like I just want to bring her in more. I just don't have like the one-off events right now. Like,
Yeah.
everything right now in 2026 is travel and huge.
Yes.
And it's just like I just need a few more in-person ones because I want to get her trained up.
Yeah.
And she's just so event-minded.
Yeah,
she
she
loves
was
it.
great.
She's a musician. Like she's not looking for a full-time job. She loves she loves gig work. She loves being a BA work, and she's smart and she's great with people.
Yeah, she
and
was
I'm like,
so
you
good.
see that, and you're like, okay, let's get this person onboarded. If it's going to cost me a little bit more for her, okay.
So, can I ask you something a bit more, I guess, direct? But you've obviously built an amazing business, but there's a downside to you being the only person.
Yeah.
What are those downsides?
I'm probably aging faster than I. No, I mean, it's stressful. Like I started all this and I was single.
Yeah.
It's just me. It was hard to date at times, but
What? Bumble and Tinder didn't do it?
no, yeah, but like you're busy on nights and weekends,
Yeah,
when
fair.
people want to go out, like, and you're like, sorry, I have an event. Now I'm married and have a wife, and even when we were dating, like, she'll be like, I texted her this morning. I was like, are you okay that I'm gone most of April?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put like a strain. There's a lot of stuff going on in our life. We're building a house. We have to move into a studio apartment next week because we've sold our house and the timelines didn't match.
Life gets complicated.
It gets very complicated.
Yeah.
And I'm stressed out on my own thing. She's got work stress. And, we just try to check in on that kind of stuff. But it's hard, and then I've been away for the past week. I'm going away for half of April. And it's like, do you have time to connect? Like the time differences, PST versus EST. And when you're working, and it's just like sometimes I forget to check in, We're running around here in Vegas, and I forgot about my wife for a few hours,
Yeah.
Then I forgot that she got home okay from Los Angeles. She was on a red eye. It's easy to forget. I mean, you have a child, you have a husband, you get that too, even more so.
Yeah.
We're trying to start a family, and I see that writing on the wall. I know there's going to be a time where I need to make a decision about my full-time job and my business, and when we have a kid and how we're going to manage that, And I've told her, and I've told anyone who asks, like, if I need to step back from NBC, I'll step back. Because 3 days a week. If they don't want that and they want to replace me with someone else, fine. Like,
Yeah.
But I also get
But
weary.
it's NBC that's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, most likely.
Yeah.
But I'm in a good position there. I think they would always want me there. Knock on wood.
It seems like they love you.
You don't know. Things change, budgets change overnight, and someone gets trained, and you see like the writing on the wall. The same way when I started there, like people got pushed out, and they're like, we like this kid, and I've had a good 10-year, 15-year run, and there's some newbies, and you're like, okay, well, maybe they'll want them full time, Who knows? But I'm okay with it. I think I'm content with it at this point. I would just miss the people.
Yeah, that's hard.
I like the day-to-day interaction. And I think like sitting at home in front of my laptop, I go insane.
Well, you also get to meet some pretty cool people.
Yeah, that too. Yes. I've met just about everybody in the world,
I know.
But like I see that writing on the wall when we have a kid, and like the daycare costs, and like I can't be gone 12 hours a day. My wife works 9 to 6:30. Like she's got a long day. She's got to make adjustments too.
Yeah.
We don't have family around us like some do. Some people have like their mother-in-law that can watch the kid every day or this and that. Like we don't have that.
Yeah. Feel you.
Yeah.
We have it, but not to the extent that most people have it, right? Like my mom's around and his parents are around, but
those are honest conversations. And
absolutely.
A very honest conversation. We can talk about the money in the industry. I don't want to sound like gloating or anything. Like we're building a $2 million house. I'm paying for it in cash. I don't want a mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I told my wife like 6 months ago, I said, I don't want a mortgage because it's going to cost us $3 million instead of $2 million. I'd rather deplete us now.
Yeah.
My business funds, this and that, and regain wealth. But I said, to do this, I'm going balls to the walls for the next year.
Yeah.
And I know because we're going to have a child at some point and that's going to change.
Yeah.
But I need you to understand that like I am going to be gone.
Yeah.
But this is for us.
Yeah.
When I started the business, I said, this is a side hustle to get me to buy a house. And then after that, it would be for my family.
Yeah.
And I bought a house by myself in 2019.
I remember that.
And-
I was like, this
and
is
that
the
was, like,
nicest
my big-
decorated house for the guy.
Thank you. And that was my goal. And then I
Yeah.
said, everything else now is for my future family.
Yeah.
Now I have a wife and I want to provide. And I would rather not do a 5-6% mortgage and
Yeah.
hemorrhage money when I know I can regain wealth pretty quickly with the
Mhm.
industry, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. But I said, I'm going balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be gone and it's going to be stressful.
Yeah.
But like, just remember, like, you want that pool heated? Like,
Yeah.
that's Coachella.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted all this new furniture. I'm like, we're doing a room at a time, but like,
Yeah.
you know,
Every event will have a
that's
piece. Will have
that's
a room.
NCAA.
Yeah.
That $30,000 that NCAA is paying me to do 5 days next month. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she gets that,
Yeah.
and that's good. But it's also stressful. But
It is. So one thing I will say, so I visited you in New York not that long ago,
Yeah.
and you picked me up from the airport in your self-driving car,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
I guess you need to have for the things you're doing. But you were checking all of your photo booths from your phone. And
Was I?
yeah, you don't remember this?
No.
You're like, oh, I have this event going on. The
Oh,
photo
yeah.
booth's texting me because the printer went down. You're like, never mind, it's back up. And I was just
Yeah.
like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But you've built systems to help you be a solo operator that can essentially
Yeah.
manage from
Well,
your
it's like-
phone.
when you're doing an iPad with DSLR, everyone knows printing is probably the hardest thing.
Yeah.
To me, printing's not. I don't have issues printing because I hardwire everything.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I have a min booth and can fit a mini PC inside, but like everything's Ethernet run.
Yeah.
My employees don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
They just know when they turn on the booth, it prints.
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely do I have an issue unless Windows give me an issue. But I have a mobile hotspot router in there that connects, gives the PC power, gives the the PC internet and the iPad internet. And I can remote into that PC, but without my employees even know I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
like, I also set up iOS automations that when the photo booth turns online, it texts me. And it says, Min Booth 1 is online. SnapPick is running. Breeze is running. There are times where like, because we use both softwares, it'll say SnapPick's running. I'll say, hey, Jay, you're supposed to be in Breeze.
Yeah.
You don't know how I know that.
Yeah.
But hey, Jay, you're supposed to be in Breeze, and then I'll quickly like remote in from my phone or from my laptop with like Google remote desktop.
Yeah.
Just make sure Breeze Hub auto turned on, which it should on the PC. Sometimes it needs a restart to connect properly. And they don't even know I did that, but I can see that it's all connected and I know it's going to print.
So your staff really don't know much about, like they're there to operate the machine.
I should probably train them on the tech side more, but they're more
Yeah.
like BAs who know how to build equipment.
Mm.
They wouldn't. There are times, if the flash dies, like that's a hard conversation, to get things across. One of my old employees like had a broken camera, so like if she would FaceTime me, it was just blur.
Yeah,
I was like, you need to get a new phone,
Oh,
because I don't know how to troubleshoot if I can't see this.
Yeah.
But it's I usually like, if it's been a while, I stop by our storage unit. I reorganize the equipment, make sure it's all, everything's there. The employee didn't like miss something, or so it doesn't screw us at the next event. I'll fire up Breeze and download the events if I have time. If not, they'll do it remotely. And
You fly a little bit by the seat of your pants.
a little bit, but it's like
It works
It's
for
all pretty
you.
good. Yeah.
I can't live like that.
I know.
It gives me stress just hearing about it.
I know. Well, it's like some people say like, oh, you need backups of everything, this and that. I'm like, I'm not schlepping 2 printers to an event. Like,
Yeah. See, I can do that.
you can do that
Because
because
we have
like
free parking everywhere.
you have free parking, you have a van, like
Yeah.
this and that, and like you can leave it in your car.
Not
When you're
that
in New
we
York, like-
do.
Sure. When you're in New York, like you're wheeling carts through commercial kitchens in the
Yeah.
back of a hotel that have hard right turns, and like you just want the least amount of gear possible. Like you want 2 cases and just roll in and get out. Like, I'm going to jinx myself doing this, but like DMP printers generally do not fail.
Yeah.
If you're updating properly and like this and that, like I transport with media in, like I have
No.
so many of them.
Nobody
They're
heard
at
everyone
hun-
cover your
There
ears.
are tens of thousands of prints. Like I never have issues that can't be solved, like by
Yeah.
just turning that off and on, or like pulling the paper out and resetting it. Like,
This is a you thing though, because I've had so many printers go down from the scraps
Yeah.
being left in them.
well, that's the one thing. And I had one employee that was very bad at it, and I
Yeah.
had to like have a talk with her, and I literally would. I took her advice. I put a piece of gaff tape, white
Yeah.
gaff tape, on the inside of the Pelican case that said, "Remember to empty scraps when putting it in this box," and then parentheses, "That means you, Tara." ... But it worked. Like she remembers now.
Okay.
But there were times, I'd pick up the kit and the scraps would fall out everywhere. And I'd
Oh
be like,
God, my heart would
son
fall.
of a bitch.
Yes.
You know?
They're the worst. They will
And
kill
that's,
your
that's
printer.
probably the one thing that would kill your printer.
Yeah.
And we've had a flash die. Like I've had to refund
Yeah.
an event, but like the plus now is things are a lot easier now.
They are.
Mirrorless
Oh my
cameras
God.
are so good. Like if you had your flash die on a T3,
Yeah.
you weren't getting a live view shot with the modeling light that wasn't blurry.
Yeah.
You can run the ISO on an R100, an M6II so high now with if the modeling light's still working,
Mm-hmm.
set it to auto white balance, like just get it done and like just make sure you're at like 1/100th of a second.
Real technical.
Sure. But like you can run that aperture
I
in the
know,
ISO.
it's
If you
true.
know a little bit of technical stuff, you can get almost the same shot.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of different depth in the way the light falls because it's not a flash
Mhm.
and get through the event without anyone ever knowing.
Yeah. And I will say that that's something that has plagued our industry is
Yeah.
that it is so easy now
Of
that
course.
people only like do what they're told rather than learning.
Right.
Like yes, that quick start is important,
Yeah.
right? And it's there to help you get ahead, but you still need to continue to learn your equipment and to learn your software and all of that. And being able to troubleshoot something like that because it is important because you can't really grow if you don't. Like,
No.
how many more refunds would you have had to do if you
Sure.
didn't know that stuff?
You have to be
right?
a techie first. You have to know your equipment. Because
Yeah.
if my employee texts me, I have to know the answer. And there are
Yes.
times I don't. Or you need to hire someone like Gregory Burt or like, photo booth support. I've never
Yeah.
used them. I don't fully know what they do, but I know that they're a number you can call at any time and he'll
Yeah.
help you. Because he's a smart guy who knows most of the equipment and software
Mhm.
and can be on call for you.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know it, find someone who does and retain their services. Like invest in your business in that way.
all the time.
Yeah.
So if you could snap your fingers today and have the business be set up exactly how you wanted and still make the same amount that you make now, or maybe just a little bit less,
Yeah.
what would that look like?
I would probably like to have one full-time person that is already in the industry, knows the industry, that I don't have to train because I just don't have the time to that gets.
You want a director.
I want a director of operations that,
Yeah.
that can run the day-to-day, do events, or we, train the people for the events, but I oversee it all, or we collaborate together on the bigger picture stuff.
Okay.
That give me more of the creative freedom to come up with ideas
Concepts and stuff.
that
Yeah.
I don't burn out at the end of the day where I don't even want to touch it.
Mm.
The amount of times where I'm like, oh, I've got this event coming up in 2 weeks. I need to figure out how to make a dolly track work and this and that. And I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow comes, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's the weekend before and I have to like scramble.
Yeah.
Just because like, I just want a day off.
Yeah.
I just want to sit on my couch, catch up on Law and Order SVU, Ted Lasso, something,
Yeah.
and just veg out.
Right. So one director of operations.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you'd still do all the quoting.
I mean, they can
The
handle that
admin.
kind of stuff too. Like,
Okay.
I mean, he's probably not going to watch this. Like, I want to buy John Tanico. John's my biggest white label partner in New
Yeah.
York. We have almost all the
What
same
if he
equipment.
does watch this though?
He knows.
Okay.
He has all the same equipment as me. We have the
Mhm.
same style. We started about the same time. We have very similar clients. Like,
Mhm.
we mesh well. Like, John does an event for me. I don't have to look at it. Like, I
Yeah.
know he's going to get it done one way or another. All of our SOPs are like the same. We run
Mhm.
our min booths the same way. We run our 360 the same way.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Scribble booth and we're like, you want to just go 50-50 on it? And
Mm.
we're not renting it off each other. Like, we don't know if it's going to sell. Like, let's
Yeah.
just split it. And he goes, oh, I'm doing a WNBA draft for you. Just count that as my payment. And I'm like, okay, done.
Nice.
But like, I would love to buy him out
Yeah.
and just have him run the day-to-day where we collaborate together.
Yeah.
Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Same way you
So-
want to buy me out.
I do. One day.
Make that. What's the number, Kat? Say it on the microphone.
No, we'll have that discussion another point. Okay, so you and one other person, and then
Yeah.
I'm assuming you want some more BAs, or you still want to be doing
Yeah,
the
more
jobs?
BAs always. It's
Okay.
just like hard because like December is not the time to train them.
No.
And then January comes along and you have like no events.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to like train someone when you're going to be giving them money because
Yeah.
otherwise they're going to be like, why am I doing this if I'm only getting called once a month?
Yeah.
I think it's hard to scale. And that's a fear of mine too. Like I know how many people you have. And then like, I don't know what your profit margin is, but like.
Not yours. But I'm
Exactly.
okay with that.
But you're
I
okay
knew
with
that-
but
yeah, I
you
knew
live a
that.
different lifestyle.
Yeah.
But that in my head is like, why am I paying all these people full time
Yeah.
and I'm going to make the same amount, but I have to now hustle and like get so many more events to cover that nut. Like,
Because I don't have to do the events.
Right.
I
True.
can do, but we have
I
different
put myself in a
businesses.
good place too, where
Yeah.
like I generally do not do normal photo booth events.
Yeah, exactly.
I just do the ones I want to do.
Yeah.
High-end corporate, 360 stuff. Like I take my 360 very seriously.
Yeah,
like,
you do. They're
You know,
beautiful. It's the most stolen image, I think, on the internet for 360.
Well, we were the only people doing 360 in the States, short of, I think, when OrcaView was doing events or whatever their partner, or I don't know what their relationship was.
I don't remember.
OM Digital.
Oh, yeah.
They were using like the original Orca booths. Like, I imported a $10,000 360 from Nuna, which was Dream Booth at the time. And I was the only one in New York doing it. And I was getting, $8,000 to $10,000 an event to do 360. Now people are doing it for $100.
Yeah.
That goes back to us talking about trends and getting in at the right time.
Yeah.
People go, oh, should I get a
2018 was so good.
Should I get a 360? If you're asking that, you've missed it.
Yeah.
So many people wait. They're like, I don't think it's in my market. You create the market.
Yeah.
You create the demand.
Yes.
Look at your keychains.
I know. It's wild.
It's not something I want to do, but like everyone's like, keychains, because they saw one person do it and it went viral. Or like,
we found them on Alibaba last night. The ones that and I created them specifically for this event, and they've gone so viral that Alibaba's now selling the entire keychains that I did.
Yeah.
Which I pieced together from various different vendors because I was going for a certain look.
Yeah.
It's not like I bought those. So I thought that was really
funny. So now they're making them the way you make them. Mm-hmm. Saved you some money.
And some
But like the amount of prototypes I bought that then become so much better down the road. And I'm like, oh, like I have the first Aura. Like I just sold it the other day. Like a black Aura that didn't even have
Mobi Aura.
Yeah. It didn't even have like the cables run properly. Like this, the ways where it was like one of their first. And like I was talking to Mike Bender yesterday. I'm like, I have an Aura M, but it doesn't have the cutout for the flash because I was like the first to get that one. I've hardly used it. Like I don't really have a need for it. But I'm like, now I do. And I'm like, oh, I can't attach a speed light because I have the version before they thought of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could take a Dremel to it, but you got to do this, that. I'm like, how about I ship it to you?
Yeah.
And you charge me and just ship it back.
Yeah.
No, but when we were doing 360, back then, you had to run it through LA Photo Party. There were no iPad apps.
Yeah.
So it was run through Windows. The process time was like 2-3 minutes in the back end, and it had to be hardwired.
Yep.
So I had a 360 that would literally, you would set the forward spin. You could really only do like 1 or 2 revolutions, and then it would backward spin to unwind.
Yeah, the
cable wouldn't snap.
Yeah. Which I'm sure wore the
do you know how long it took to set up a 360 back then with like all the power? Lights weren't V-mount battery operated or anything. Like it took hours to set that stuff up. I had so much equipment. And now I roll in with an OrcaView. Everything's battery powered. Venues love me because I don't have any needs. And I can set up a 360. It's cinema quality with battery operated lights, these stands that are lightweight that fold up in probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love getting your texts and you're 12-minute teardown.
I challenge myself as the king of breakdown on everything. John would hate me for it. He sees how I like organize my equipment and it gives him anxiety. And I'm like, but I don't want custom. I would love custom foam cut, Pelican, everything. Yeah. But then it's just more cases. I'm like, I fit as much into a Pelican as I can and roll out because I want one trip.
Yeah.
I want to be out. I want to be home. I want to be on my couch.
Yeah.
Or in bed because I know I got to be up in 5 hours for work.
Right. Tell me about an event that almost broke you or a moment in your business that almost broke you.
So Kat helped me with an event in New York. Steve helped me create it. And it was very bespoke that we created 6 activations that all needed to tie together without data capture. And the way we did it was we printed custom ID badges that were given to each guest as they came in that had a QR code.
Yeah.
If they scanned that QR code, it take them to their own personal microsite gallery. That QR code also triggered every session at all the activations. So our BAs had Zebra barcode scanners. They would scan the QR code on the guest badge that would link their session. And then when they captured it, auto-uploaded to that. But we had issues. We had one bespoke cinema robot setup that didn't run through Breeze like all the other 5 activations did. So we had to code our own software that would scan the barcode, match it to the Breeze session, upload it to their private gallery.
Yeah.
Very cool that I vibe coded it. I know nothing about coding and I just, locked in and I told the client, I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work. We may need to do a different sharing for this one activation. And then I told him, nope, we can do it. Yeah, we figured it out. But then like the first day the internet went down and like things started not queuing right and mismatching. So then I'm sitting there vibe coding like redundancies on how to make sure everything, if the internet goes down or has an error, I vibe coded that it would text me as soon as it had an error or the internet went down and back up. So I would go run to that area and knew. And then we had just like little issues with the BAs would forget to scan a badge. So like if Kat went and took some photos and then they'd scan her badge, And then I jump in, all right, do me. And they didn't scan my badge.
Yeah.
It went to Kat's gallery.
Yeah.
And then people are going, well, where are my photos? And I had to find them and manually move them around. So then we vibe coded, or no, we didn't vibe code. That was Breeze. We built in redundancies that auto timed out the session after 20 seconds. So they were forced to scan.
Yeah.
Versus hitting a back button and going back to the ready screen.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's an undertaking as a single operator. Like I called Kat, I said, I need you in New York for a few days. I just need someone with a technical background. And I would have used John. I used John at BravoCon, but I wanted to give Kat, I know she wanted the opportunity
I was
too.
loving it.
And I love spreading the wealth, and my wife wanted to see Kat. So I was like, let's fly Kat down
Even
for
though
a
we
few
only
days.
hung out for like an hour.
I know.
Sorry, Jackie.
But I knew I couldn't be in 6 places at once. And I had a team of BAs that I hired, but they're not technical people. They were there to run and be people persons, you know? So Kat was running the technical side. I was too, but I was very locked in on fixing and
you were
doing
in the one section
redundancies
the whole time.
because it was the most important section, I think. But I don't know if it nearly broke me, but like I was ready to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking $150,000 contract, like, and a client that, if those keep continuing and you make happy, like I don't need to do weddings. I don't need to do the $2,000 one-off, social corporate events. Like I just need this.
Yeah.
And my CPA, we had a call last week, and it's like, you did a really good year. You went up from like 600 to 950 this year, but you have a lot of subcontractor expense, but like you really haven't spent that much more on your expenses. And I was like, it's because I had a few good clients that came in at the end of the year. You get $150,000 for one event for 4 days work plus all the, pre-pro, but it changes your mindset. And
that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to carry.
Yeah. And then the next day you go do like a $2,000 like gift booth, and you're like, why am I here? And that client is more of a bitch, pain
in the butt.
Pain in the butt. Those clients are always, the cheaper the client, the harder they are.
I know.
And a lot of times, the more expensive the client, they're like, we love it. It's great.
Yeah, because they trust you.
They trust you.
You're a partner.
Exactly.
You're not a vendor.
Yeah.
What's the best event you ever did?
Probably that one.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, let me think of some others. We've been to Super Bowls and done stuff for like Sirius at Radio Row, but like they weren't like, it was just cool to be there.
Yeah.
Like to be in the room where it happened kind of thing. BravoCon's cool, like to see the fandom. We did VidCon.
Yeah.
VidCon was very cool. John helped me with that. That was probably an event that almost broke me.
Yeah.
We can go back to that. Like prior day load-in, nothing's ready. We're sat there for 12 hours.
Yeah.
I finally said to the client, I'm like, guys, we need to go get sleep. Like you want us in for a 10 a.m. start tomorrow? Like it's 11 p.m.
Wow.
We need to go. We'll be back early. And then they like panic called us at 4 a.m. You got to get in here and like set it up. I'm like, we'll be there.
Yeah.
I had the faith that we'll do it fine. But like, we just sat there for 12 hours doing nothing. And like, that can break you in itself because it's just so unorganized and the stress behind it. And you're just like, what are we doing? Like, so now like that changed my SOP moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, the event was awesome. It was this custom built thing, and there was different rooms, and every room had one of our photo ops, and there was all these sharing galleries that were Snappic based at the end. And you found your this is, it was 2019. So there wasn't as much stuff as we have now. So you had to like scroll and find, but you could, find all your videos and share them. And people loved it. And it was great. And it went really well. And then we had other activations in different places. And this is like when Min does iHeart, and he has his team of like 7 who work for him. And he just rolls in and does what he does. Like, this was me, but I'm a solo op, and I bring in John to help. And then like, we just have BAs running it from the agency side, and we're just on walkie for when something goes wrong.
Yeah. The walkies were fun.
Yeah.
I need to implement that.
Yeah. But like, those are the types that break you, like internet blocks.
Yeah.
They had to pay like, I don't know, $15,000 for like proper internet that we had to get on. Like those convention centers will screw you.
They really will.
And those are things you don't know going in.
Until you
sometimes it's great, and then you're there and like everything works fine, and then the doors open and it breaks.
Yeah.
Here's an event that broke me. We've done the NBA draft for 4 years now. We set up on the red carpet. I shoot the players, an hour of work with a long setup time, and then we pack up and we leave. And they use that for broadcast. We don't share anything. It goes to a Dropbox. They take it into their production truck, what's called EVS, which is a tape playback system.
Yeah.
And it gets used in their promos. It gets used when they're talking about them. And like, it's very cool to see your work on TV.
Yeah.
Last year, they said, we want you to move after the red carpet, come down to the stage of the draft.
Mhm.
We were off to camera left. So as the number 1 draft pick, it's called, he puts on his hat. The next thing he did was come to our platform. It's me and him on the draft stage. And we're shooting a 360 of him with his new team hat. And they wanted to play that back instantly.
Oh, no.
And everything's quick with
Yeah.
SnapPick. Dropbox works great.
Mhm.
And they were pulling it from there. But when, 15, 20,000 people filled the Barclays Center, even with private ESPN Wi-Fi, nothing was uploading.
Oh, no.
Our Bluetooth shat the bed. I couldn't trigger. So I ended up having to do a manual trigger, which worked fine. But my little remote wasn't working anymore. Don't know why. Just so much congestion. I had IT scrambling, and they used some shots, but it wasn't what they wanted. They wanted to be able to call it back before they moved on to the next person. And that was upsetting, And I think we're going to try again this year. We're looking at some other cameras, some other workflows, but we couldn't hardwire because you're spinning round and round, and we like to do it really fast and then get it in the slow-mo. The shot was awesome. I'm sure they used it for social content and other, Sports Center broadcasts later on.
Yeah.
But that killed me. I felt like I failed them, even though it wasn't my fault. There was nothing we could have done. The IT guy was like, I don't know. It's just the congestion's here. It's what they do for a living, and they had the router right next to me.
Yeah,
they dropped, and
they didn't know
it wasn't uploading. And then you get through 1 through 15 on the draft. And I think we were there till 30. You do the full round, and people start leaving.
Oh, no.
And now everything's blasting. Everything's going up fine. It's going in real time, and because people have left.
Yeah. So not much you can do there.
No.
Well, they hired you again, though.
But that's what you learn, when you're doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
These redundancies are you're outside, get a Starlink. Don't trust whatever. The amount of times, we're doing so much video now.
Yeah.
The client goes is 5 megs up and down fine? I'm like, no.
Oh my God, no.
They're like, but it's going to cost us $10,000 more. And I'm like, I say, I'll bring my own.
Yeah.
But I have no promises.
Yeah.
I can't control the environment.
No.
And the congestion. And
or the
things will
towers.
queue.
Yeah.
But I also tell them the opposite of that. I'm like, if I can't upload, people can't download.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah. That's true.
They can't browse the web on their phone. They're not
No.
going to be able to load that page till they leave.
Yeah.
They'll get it.
Yeah, they'll get it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you had to say no to a growth opportunity because you are a solo operator?
Yeah, probably. But I try to, it's more event opportunities.
Yeah.
I try to white label. And that's where PBX and our industry has been great. I've met so many people that I trust. I have Lap in LA. She's my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I do an AI conference in LA every March.
Mm-hmm.
I have it booked again. I have my flights booked. It's a regular photo booth with some AI stuff, and they added sketchbots.
Mm-hmm.
Lap doesn't do sketchbots, but I was going out for it. But then I got asked to do a conference for Luxottica, Ray-Ban, Oakley, doing some AI stuff, doing some gimbal work. And I want to be there.
Yeah.
That's the client I need to show face for.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to say no.
Yeah.
I knew it was overlapping. So Lap will white label. She's never done sketchbots. She's just send it to me. I'll figure it out. And she will. I trust her.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, but it's I'll send it to her a week prior and with a little video, and the same way I figured it out when I got it last week.
But you're using the PhotoMaster ones.
No,
right?
I use
right. The other one. Okay.
So I try to, match those opportunities where we're waiting on a contract today for Coachella both weekends.
Yeah.
And I'm literally going NCAA home for 2 days, Coachella weekend 1, home for 2 days, Coachella weekend 2, fly to Boston, do the Boston Marathon, fly home.
Oh my God.
But in that is now the WNBA draft for ESPN for broadcast,
Nice.
which I also do. I started doing that last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I can make it home from Coachella in time. So I had to text John. I'm like, John, are you free Monday the 13th? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I need you to do the WNBA draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you my kit. Use my Orca View because I have the long arm. He has one of the older ones. I'm like, take my lighting kit. It's what they're used to.
Yeah.
I'll build it all out. I'm like, it's easy. It's an easy event. I trust him on it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say no to a past client.
No.
But that's the hardest stuff. But I also am not saying no to Coachella.
Yeah.
2 weekends at $30,000,
Yeah. Crazy.
But it can bite you.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't, but that's where the stress comes in because I can't be everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about your mindset though, because you're a very positive person. And you also are
I am.
very,
My wife hates it because I always say she's a negative person. She's like, I'm not. And I'm like, I just don't get stressed the same way as other people do. It's just maybe I keep it internally. Maybe I should talk to a therapist about it. I don't know.
all need to.
Yeah.
Things seem possible. It just seems like everything's possible.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And it can be stressful to get point A to B, but when you make the networks that you have, it'll get done. And clients don't see things the way we see things.
Yeah.
I've had white labels that suck, and I'm yelling at them and I would never use them again. And they overpromise, underdelivered type things. Like the client never said anything. They don't know the difference. It's not my level of quality.
Yeah.
But they didn't know the difference, that the lighting was wrong for the first hour, like that the flash wasn't working the way it was supposed to. And I had to get them up and running the proper way.
Yeah.
So I try not to stress. I mean, those moments Jackie will look over to me and I'll be like, don't talk to me. Like I'm like locked in, like monitoring this event, like they're screwing me. Like, but then it all ends fine. But I try to just do what I do. And like at the end of the day, like we're taking photos, we're bringing fun to people. Like it's not brain surgery. We're not curing cancer, that's what I say about my job too. Like I can do it tired in the morning. Like I'm not dealing with clients at that job. I'm pointing at cameras and moving celebrities around and like listening to the Backstreet Boys at 5 a.m. with their awful real voices. Sorry to all the people that went to the Sphere. You just have to like step back and you're just like, look at the life I have. Like it's not, I don't need to be that stressed over it unless it's warranted,
Stress when stress
And if you're
is needed.
stressed, clients see the stress.
Yeah, they do.
And then they worry that something's wrong.
Yeah.
You have to show face and just explain if you need to, or like,
just
you and I, after the New York event, I wrote my agency and I sent you that email. I said like, hey, I just want to give you a debrief.
Yeah.
Like this is what went really well.
Yeah.
This is what I would change. This is what did not work well. Some of it's on you guys and some of it's on us and some of it's on stuff we should have collaborated together, like lighting.
Oh, the lighting.
They said, we're bringing in our own lighting team. We don't need your lighting.
Yeah.
We should have brought in our own lighting.
Yes, 100%.
Or we should have talked to the LD beforehand. But you live and learn from those experiences. That's why Shelly does so great. Now she has production people behind her. Yeah. She treats it as a creative agency. She does all those aspects. But the client was like, this is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were thrilled, if they had issues with me. Like, until the next call comes in.
Yeah.
And I hope it does. Yeah. We had a bad event with that agency before they booked us for this New York event, where we were just doing sharing, but we were at Min was handling for me, or one of his BAs out in Texas. And we were just sharing photos. There were so many people in the stadium. Things weren't transferring. It was going real slow. They were upset about it. They still called for this big event.
Yeah.
They trusted us enough. Like, they were upset. Like, we didn't bring a Starlink. Like, we never discussed this.
Yeah.
Like, they were upset that like branding didn't get auto added. We never discussed this. You told me you had a photographer. We're just doing the back end sharing. That's all it was supposed to be, was bringing 2 iPads with SnapPic running with an uploader.
Yeah.
And then we solved it. I walked the photographer how to get the logo added on in Lightroom or whatever he was using, Capture One, and then all this and that. You can get caught up in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still a positive experience.
Yeah. Okay, last question. What would you tell Zach from 2012? What would you tell him?
Probably buy less, rent more.
Okay.
Or I think one of the things I do really, really well, and this is like when I want to buy this scribble booth, but I don't have a client for it. Yeah. And I've done this before at PBX. I bought the Zentex selfie booth. I think I was the only person who had this because COVID happened right after. It was 8 cell phones that took an array. Yeah. It was awesome. And I had a client for it, but then COVID happened and I never used it. I finally sold it this year. I've never used it. It's been on my website for years, but no one asked for it.
Yeah.
Investing when you don't have the ROI on it sucks. And I wish I knew that going into it. Like, I don't need to buy a DJI gimbal when I can rent it for $40. Like, I didn't know that. Now I do. And I'm like, I just did this warehouse sale because I have so much equipment that I've used once that I don't need anymore. Yeah. That you can get elsewhere.
Yeah. What about from the business side though?
Yeah.
Like, that's one. That's a great one technically and whatnot, but.
Charge more.
Yeah.
Everyone's afraid to charge more. I think that was one of the best things I ever did, was just start raising my prices. We talked about I was Groupon at $400, but like I quickly went to $1,000 and I quickly went to $1,500. Now we said between like $1,800 and $2,000 as a base. Yeah. And that's a pretty good number. Like, I know I'm making good money there. Yeah. Even I pay my employee like a flat rate of $250 for a 3-hour event. Like, I'm still making $1,600, $1,700 on that event. Yeah. But when you charge more, you get, this goes back to what we said before, the more a client pays, generally the easier they are to work with. Yeah. It's the people that are budget conscious
Had to work hard for that money.
that want everything from you
Yep.
and aren't happy with anything. And you may not be your own client. You went to my wedding. I was budget conscious with my vendors.
We had to fix your photo booth.
I know, and there was a cheap photo booth. There weren't a lot of options there. We were doing in another country, but they were a cheap photo booth. And I was like, this is great. I can get like 8 hours of service for like $600. And I knew Kat was there, Alder was there, Mira was there. Like they were using a PBSCO legacy.
Yeah.
They can dial it in. It wasn't the best photo booth in the world, but like you guys all jumped in and
because we made it awesome.
Yeah. But I'm not my own client. Like when I shop around for a handyman, like I don't pick the handyman that's $1,500. I pick the one that's $500 because like depending on what the project is. Like and I get that, but I don't want to be doing house birthday parties.
Yeah.
Like that's not our brand. Like sure, if it's at a mansion in Greenwich, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But they're paying those rates, the high rates.
I love that.
Thankfully, I learned that pretty early on.
Yeah.
But I always wish you learned it sooner.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for dishing.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So to everyone who's listening, you can build a business however you want to. There's going to be pros and cons to building it. And I just want you guys to hear from everyone because all of our inner circle, I think, runs their business very differently, right? And there's no right or wrong way to do business. It's just the way you decide to do it and take what you need from where you get it, right? And build it the way you want to. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.